had this mad idea that whenever we're going for toilet breaks, we should try and get like a paid promotion on the podcast, and it should be like it should be like a wee elevator jingle, and it'd be like, this toilet break is brought to you by Anusol. Keeping your piles at bay. Right, well, here we are. What episode are we on now? Is it episode 3? 1, 2,
3, yeah.
Oh, we've made it to 3 episodes, mate. Class.
The trilogy.
Yes, the trilogy. We've completed the trilogy now. Plenty to talk about. How's your week been?
It's been all right, mate. Just busy with work. Hungover on Saturday. I was out with Ben and his new partner, and so me and Alana went and met them up. And on Saturday, mate, a beautiful day, spent in bed, suffering. I'm feeling sorry for myself.
It's horrific, isn't it? The hangovers. See, as you get older, the hangovers get worse, I think, like 100%.
Yeah. It's just terrible, mate. It's like, I don't think people talk enough about the psychological fallout of a hangover. Like, just utter, your head's just scrambled, isn't it? Like, and it's good waking up the day after, and now it's Tuesday morning, and I feel great. And like, sobriety, the way forward till next time.
Like, see, when I was younger, like 18, 19 and stuff like that, you would still sort of feel hungover, but you still had that energy to be like, go to your work and do things and stuff like that. But see now, like, see if I have a few too many, mate, I'm raw off for like 3 days. I'm like,
yeah, it's mental. Like, when you're younger, the stuff you can do and the amount you can knock back. It's a young man's game, this drinking.
I know. Have you ever tried like a hair of the dog?
Yes, mate. I try and refuse to do it, but there was one time my dad gave me some important advice, and it was after my engagement party. We were at a pub, and it was like family and friends were there, so I couldn't not go. And he said, just get a Guinness down you, and that was a struggle. But see, after the first Guinness and a half, ooh.
Guinness is the way forward, mate. It's full of iron, so you're like,
yeah. I was ready to get back on it, and I was like,
I know. It's like you're like Popeye after you have the first one. You're like,
drinking, your muscles are whoa.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, I remember doing it once. I was at a mate's house when I was working for Tesco, and we had a mad night, and I was working the next day at 12 or something, and I remember waking up in his spare room and being like, I am ill. Like, do you know that? You're like, if I get up here, I'm going to spew everywhere. And we still had a few beers left over, so I went and got a shower, still felt rank, and I was just like, I'm going to have to down a beer here because there's no physical way I can go to my work. Mate, I was bouncing in that place. I was like, As soon as that wore off, though, like, obviously I was in for like 5-6 hours. As soon as that wore off, I was like, I need to go home.
Yeah.
Starting to get the shakes.
There's only one thing that could get you through that shift, and that was a nice hair of the dog beer.
The hair of the dog, the gateway to alcoholism.
Right, totally. I fell for a trick on Friday night. You know when you just like get caught up in the atmosphere and the night's going good, you've had a few beers in, and then I think it was Ben or his partner decided to bring over shots of Zambuca, and I just thought, go on then. And you feel at the time there's like a, oh no, he ain't bought shots, but then you feel compelled, like, go on then, like, get it down you, and you're bouncing for the rest of the night, and they're fucking lethal, those shots, mate. Just
they are lethal.
Banned.
I went to Mexico a few years ago with one of my mates who I used to work with, and they used to offer you, it was an all-inclusive in Cancun, and sitting at breakfast, and they're like offering you shots of tequila at like 9 a.m. and I was like, and we had a mad night on tequila one night. Like, I don't see, even if I go out and I'm like plastered with drink, right? I would never get up and dance. Like, I'm just so self-conscious about like dancing and stuff like that. But whenever I'm on the shots, especially Jägermeister, see if I go out and I have a few Jaegers, I am like full of the beans. I'm like dancing, throwing shapes, you know?
Yeah.
And we had there was like a bar downstairs, and I had a couple of pool tables in this hotel. And from what I can remember, I took this big speaker with me, this big Sony speaker that you could connect to Bluetooth. I had it in my suitcase, so we would have it in the hotel room and blast music. So we had this mad night down in the bar bit, 2, 3 in the morning. Me and him are on the table, Oasis blasting through the speaker, just constant shots of tequila. And we were like dancing on pool tables. Oh yeah, gonna live forever. But yeah, these two big Mexican security guards were like, turn the music off.
That must be some place to go to, man.
It was nice, but I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't rush to go back. It's a bit seedy.
Yeah, right.
We sort of booked like this resort where it was like adults only. Because within our budget, we only had like a couple of choices of hotels. And when we booked it, the woman was like kind of looking at us going, are you sure you want to book this place? And we were like, why wouldn't we? But it actually turned out that it was a bit of a naughty hotel. It was renowned for, you know, people having a wee swing about, you know.
Really?
And it was just a bit weird because like it was only the two of us, two guys. There was supposed to be a couple others, but they pulled out. So it was just the two of us. Yeah. And yeah, it was just a bit, I don't know. It was just a bit weird. You would like walk down the beach to go to like a bar or whatever, and like there'd be people selling like jet skis and stuff like that, jet ski rides. And they'd be like cocaina. And I was like, what? Like selling you excursions and like a wee bag of coke as well. And it's like, oh no, I don't think I like this place, but it's all right.
See, when you were in this bar, were you like when you had the music blasting, was there other people that were dancing as well, or you was just kind of left alone?
No, so the guy that was serving us at the bar, like the bar shut at like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, so we were like tanning tequilas back, and then he shut the bar, and I don't know what we done because I can't really remember it, but I was like, I'm going to go and get my speaker from the hotel room, so I ran up, got the speaker, brought it back down. By this time, the bar was empty, and we were just sitting. I don't even know if we had like drink in our room. I couldn't even tell you, but we were sitting on the bar with the speaker blasting music, and then obviously, you know, you're up on pool tables dancing, you know.
Really?
But
just smashed off tequila.
Oh, smashed! And I'd never had tequila before, so I didn't even know. Like, you know, you were doing the whole like, what is it? The salt and then the lime.
Yeah.
I think by our eighth or ninth shot, we were just like down in it. No salt or lime required.
How old were you then when you went over there?
I would have been. That was the year I met Melissa, so I was 23. Yeah, 23. But yeah, strange place. I think if you went with your family and you went to like a family hotel and stuff, it would be a lot better. I think it was called the Temptation Resort. The Temptation Resort, and the name should have given it away. We were like, oh yeah, we'll book that. Yeah, that's fine. That's within our budget. And the woman was like, the Temptation, really? Do you want to book that, really? And to get to the beach, you obviously had to walk through the resort and the bar and the restaurant areas. But there was this pool that was like right next to the main pool. They used to do like activities during the day. But see, at night, when you were walking sort of through the resort, going for a drink and stuff, there was no lights that would shine on this pool, right? And the first couple of nights, I was like, why is there no like illumination for that part of the hotel? And obviously we found out later that people would get in the pool in the dark and, you know,
do the naughty business.
Be a bit naughty. And I was a bit like, nah, I don't know if I like this.
Imagine jumping into that swimming pool.
I know, imagine being steaming and being like, I'm just going to go for a wee dip, and big cock in your face. What the fuck?
This big scum monster. An experience over there, mate. That must have been some hell of a place.
I wouldn't go back in a hurry, put it that way.
I've heard over there, there's like, it's quite sketchy. Like there's some places and guards that have like rifles. Is that true? Or is that no nonsense?
I never seen any of that, but we met these English guys who had walked into the main bit of Cancun. And they were the hotel representatives were like, don't go in there because you're not a local and it's quite dangerous, quite sketchy.
Yeah.
The only really thing that I remember was just like everyone was trying to sell you coke. And what's the big mafia group in Mexico?
The cartel.
The cartels. So we got told from somebody else that the cartels ran like a lot of the businesses, and like all the taxi drivers worked for them. So if you got in a taxi and you was like, yeah, have you got drugs? They'd probably be like, oh, yeah, you want some? And it was just, it was a weird, mate. It was very, very strange. And I was like, nah, I don't think I'd come back here. Like,
what have you been up to this week, mate?
Not a lot, mate. Just I've been in the studio, just recording. I got that Vox amp a couple of weeks ago, and I've been having some amount of fun, mate. It's been class.
Riffage.
Oh yeah, I've been sort of like trying to record parts of my third album.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just been kind of taking my time, and because I haven't recorded with like a proper amp for years, so setting up mics and getting levels and stuff like that, it took me a couple of days to wrap my head around it. But it's just been fun, having an amp again and working on songs with like proper sounds from like I got the Vox Valvetronics, because that's the amp I used to play with when I was in my band years ago.
Aye.
So I remember I switched it on last week, and I just plugged my guitar in, and I just sort of fiddled around with the settings. That'll do, and like started playing this riff with feedback, and genuinely, mate, it was like it just took me back to being 21 again. Like
aye.
I was like,
back the years.
It was so nostalgic. Just something like the sounds from the amp just sort of resonated somewhere in my brain, and it was class. So having a lot of fun with that, mate. Just trying to get my songs. Trying to sort of get the songs finished for the next album. So I'll need to send you like a wee sort of like rough master of one of the songs.
Yes, please do, mate.
That heavy one. Do you know the one that you were talking about? Oh, have you ever written a song? So that's like got a full structure now.
Yeah, the shanty tune, is that?
Oh yeah, mate. Yeah. So it's like it's in drop D and it's really heavy. I'll need to send you a wee sort of clip of it.
Good old drop D, mate. Oof.
But I just think that with an amp, the problems that I had with like using like an interface and using like digital plugins was like I sort of always struggled with trying to get like a really finished sound on my guitars. Like you would have the guitar part done and stuff, whereas with an amp you can really dial down your tones because you got all the knobs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And obviously like the built-in effects with my combo amp just make it. I just can't quite get the sound of an amp through the digital, So it's been really nice to like crank everything and be like, oh, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I suppose there's only so much the digital sort of side can do, but it can't replicate a fully, like, in its prime amplifier.
Yeah, and I think like you can sort of do like hybrid recording where you can use both, and I think that's what a lot of bands do now. They sort of would use hybrid between the digital and between the amps, but it's nice to get a nice heavy sound and that sort of really classic crunch sound off some of the settings. I'll have to send you over a wee mix of one of the songs.
Please do, mate. It's fucking quality. Those valve amps. I remember I used to have I think it was a bass one as well. I think it was an orange one. It was basically like a head. And it was literally the size of like, I don't know, like a shoebox or something. But it was a bit heavy, but it was like you just carried it about in this little small case, took this head out, and then just plugged it into the speaker. And it's just as loud as anything, but it wasn't like heavy, like it was just small. And I thought, how the hell does a head just make this whole sound like one of these valve amps? It's mental.
Yeah, especially like for live gigging and stuff like that. It's actually it's really purposeful to have like that set amp where you can just dial your own tones in and stuff like that. But it's kind of opened the doorway where I just want to buy more amps now, though.
Yeah, aye.
It's a bit dangerous, I need to try and hide the credit card for the missus and.
You've had a taste of it now, eh?
Oh no, studio filled with amps. Can you imagine? Big Marshall stacks.
Well, that's the impression I have coming into your studio. Like, it's just going to be like Marshall stacks all the way up. We organ in the corner.
Yeah, the studio's not massive, but it's big enough to obviously like I've got like a seat and I've got like the desk and I've got like a wee isolation room and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's plenty of space to fit a few more amps. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't have space for is a drum kit.
Maybe get an extension one day.
Just build a second floor on it.
The Marshall half stacks, like, just like when you think of like a band and like an amplifier, it's just the one that sticks out. I don't know if it's the best because I don't play electric guitar or anything, but it's just the one you just see, the little like the little fucking Marshalls. He actually made my friend, I think he had a little, it was like a tiny 5-watt head. It was basically like a small Marshall stack, but it was like a tiny one, like, but he's like 5-watt. Class.
Even the 5 watts, like my one's 30. Is it 30 watt? But mate, it's so loud. I stick it on for 10 minutes just to warm it up, and then see when you crank it, it's loud, mate. The studio shakes. Like, you're like, Jesus. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think a stack's required for me to get my sound.
No,
I think I could stick with 20 and 30 watt amps. But see, using the amp now, mate, it's like the next album's going to be heavy. Like going down that real guitar-driven route as opposed to like the acoustic sort of indie sound.
Yeah, no, that's good, mate. Exciting times.
So, yeah, very, very exciting. So you didn't have any gigs over the weekend, no?
No, I didn't. I always sometimes keep myself available if like anything comes. There might be a bar like, are you available this Friday or Saturday? And then I'll go play. But no, just Friday, just out on a double date, and then Saturday recovering. And I felt bad because I think if I had a gig when you're that hungover, it's like, I don't think I can play that gig. It's terrible, eh? Not very rock and roll, eh? No gigs for a while, mate. I've just been messaging loads of venues again today, try and get some more dates filled up for 2026. I've got a few, so just looking for a few more.
Well, you've got your single coming out, haven't you?
I have, mate. Yeah, so I think we'll probably maybe 5-6 weeks or something. We'll get a date for that sorted, mate. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hopefully get some more gigs on the back of it.
Yeah, I was reading about this touring fund that's been launched this month. Actually,
is this just to give like independent artists like a fund to go touring with and release music?
Yeah, so I'm just reading here. It offers UK musicians up to $7,000 or 40% of costs to support domestic tour. Now, obviously, I think reading here, you have to be like performing in small to mid-sized venues, minimum of 3 shows. But yeah, it's like a grant that you can apply for. So, mate, if yourself and Ben are progressing forward with the music, it's definitely something to look into, because I think that was one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because you do the live gigs, like, and obviously some of the gigs you get paid cash in hand, but it is so hard to make a living from just doing like original, gigs on a Saturday night, because you just make no money from it.
Yeah, true that, mate. And I think with the cost as well, of like with touring, you have to kind of like weigh up like how much is the venue going to pay you, how much is my accommodation for the night, your van, petrol hire, like the driver, roadie. It's a lot of stuff goes into it. Food, expenses.
Do the venues in Edinburgh, are they still run by promoters?
Yeah, I think some are. Like, I've not really had a gig where I've done it for a promoter in a couple of years, I'd probably say. Usually just play mostly pub gigs. But from what I still see some promoters doing gigs in Edinburgh and in like Scotland. But it's I mean, like, if you're a touring artist, like, I've heard stories where like people they're just happy to break even, like if they get paid enough. And so a lot of the stories are that like after all their fuel costs, accommodation, they never really made much money, but it was just enough to keep going. So it's basically like a sort of like, if you're getting paid for the gigs, it pays for your whole tour. Like, so you're not making any money, you're just taking time off and going away. Some musicians as well, like they'll do like gigs in the afternoon in a coffee shop and stuff like that, or busk, just to keep the money going. But that sounds like a great thing there you mentioned, mate. And I hope that really takes off and that benefits a lot of musicians.
So yeah, it's the UK Artist Touring Fund, launched this month. So yeah, I suppose it'll help like small and mid bands You know, if for any costs and stuff like that, like you said, if they're breaking even, maybe they'll move into the positive with the finances.
Yeah.
So yeah, any money's a good thing in the music scene. But I used to get really frustrated with promoters back in the day because it was all about, and I don't know what your experience was it with your bands, but whenever you used to sign up to a gig, the promoter would obviously ask for your Facebook page and all your socials. But then it was like, the question that used to annoy me was, how many tickets can you sell? And I'd be like, don't know. I mean, like, I haven't even told anybody that we're playing. So, like, what are you expecting? And it was always in the run up to the gig was, you know, how many tickets have you sold? How many of this? How many of this? And you're just like, well, you know, you're the promoter, so should you not be promoting the gig to try and get as many people in? You know?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a funny one. The promoters, like, they set up the gig, they'll get the venue, do posters and social media and stuff. I think a successful night is probably the promoters doing what they're doing, the bands sharing it on social medias. Because I played gigs with like bands, and the bands on the bill have not even shared it on the social media. Like I found out with promotion as well. I've done a couple of gigs in Edinburgh, and you'd book this band, and if they've not even shared anything about the gigs, so it's like, it's like how's you going to reach out to your fans to come to the gig if you're not sharing it online? It's a hard one. Like when I played a few weeks ago with Ben's band in Newcastle, this cracking wee venue called Little Buildings. You could only fit about maybe 20, 30 people in the room. If they had 30 people in there, it would be tight. And it was just the music was good. The other bands were brilliant. One person showed up, like, bought a ticket. So it was like the bands were there, the sound man, and just one customer had bought a prepaid ticket. And during the gig, it's just kind of like, I felt like a bit of like downhearted because you're thinking, this is like a proper band night, like music's good, and it's just one person through the door. Maybe that's just like the suffering of live music. And the two bands were from Newcastle, and obviously Ben's band are from Scotland. And I think the promoter did say the night before, like, "Oh, have you sold any tickets? Because we only sold one." But I think Ben explained to him, like, "Well, we're an out of town band. We're probably not going to have anyone come along unless our music's reached someone in that region, and they might come along." So it's hard graft, man.
It is hard, and especially when you're saying that the two other bands were from Newcastle. Like, surely they've got to have like some sort of fans or friends and family who could have come along.
Yeah,
you know, it's just sometimes it's so bizarre. The one thing as well I used to find with bands when you were playing is if they were maybe like first or second on the bill, they would play, and then the whole band would leave with whoever they brought along, and that used to infuriate me because I would always stay, even if I was first on. I would stay for the whole night.
Yeah, got him. You know, it's a rule, isn't it?
You know, you've been put on for a gig night, so have the respect of the venue, the other bands, the promoters, and stay for the whole night. And the people you've come with, at least make it a night. It used to irritate me when you used to, you know, see the venue just empty because some band had played first and they brought maybe 20 people with them.
Yeah.
And you can't hold them at gunpoint at the door and tell them to stay, but it's like, you know, we're all trying to help each other here. Like,
I know.
You know, that's the whole point of unsigned gigs in the circuit. You try and, you know, encourage other people to go, oh, this is a good band we're supporting, or they're supporting us, and you know, it's how you network and you get in touch with everybody and stuff like that. But it's hard. It's so difficult to get any sort of progress on the live music scene.
Yeah, there's a fine line, and I totally agree with what you said there, mate. When you're playing a gig, you have to kind of stick around for other bands. Likewise, for them to do it, all goes to make a successful night. It's very tricky.
Absolutely.
Mate. It's really hard. Like you think like local bands as well. Like they would maybe bring like a couple of friends or family members, but sometimes maybe the gig a few weeks ago, what was maybe against it was because it's a city. There's probably a lot of music venues, and it's on a Thursday night as well. That's probably not as a good idea. Better to do a gig on a Saturday night, a Friday night, more people.
I always used to make an effort when I was playing gigs to like go and introduce myself to the other band members and stuff on the night.
Yeah.
So whenever they played or something like that, I would always make a point to go and get one of them and be like, oh, I'm Brian, I'm from this band, and like, oh, you were really good and stuff like that. And like, see when you
Right.
do that for a couple of years, but like you get nothing back, and you're like, why am I even bothering here? Like,
Yeah, aye, and that's one of the enjoyable parts as well, is meeting new musicians, and
of
like you
course it
make
is.
friends with them, and just the like-minded people, and yeah, you get some great chats with. There might be some bands where like some musicians don't really, they won't reserve, they won't talk to you and that, but you can
Yeah,
still like introduce yourself. That's a good thing to do.
it's a tough old gig. Excuse the pun.
Yeah, I've from living in Edinburgh and the town I came from in Corby. Like, I remember there was one time there was, well, both I'd sort of say there was a big scene when I was younger, about 18, 19. Actually younger than that. Sorry, about was 16, where there was a lot of like sort of like there was a band night up at this place called the Raven, and you'd get a lot of people who were into like metal music, like pop punk bands. There was like a big scene for it, like what we call emo music. Um, but that was a scene, like, yeah, and even in Edinburgh, I've noticed like there's a quite a thing for a metal scene. So if you're in a metal band here, there's tons of metal bands, so you get to meet like-minded people. The indie scene as well in like early 2000s, that was quite big. I remember down in Corby, you'd have like good indie bands that were like Arctic Monkeys that just came out and all that. So
Yeah.
there's a bit of a scene for it there. The football,
On to the footy, yes, the gig in the game. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start in England or Scotland?
I don't know. You decide, mate.
Well, we start in Scotland. Big weekend.
Yeah.
So yes, Hearts going down 1-0 to Kilmarnock. Slightly losing their grip on first place. Maybe not the wheels coming off fully, but certainly not what they needed with 2 games to go until the split. But they were poor on was it Saturday night? Yeah, Saturday night. We haven't really spoken much about Hearts in this podcast, obviously with them being top of the league, but I think all Hearts fans would agree that they were really, really poor. And Kilmarnock were just really resilient and got the goal, and yeah. So yeah, it's maybe derailed them a wee bit, but I'm sure once the split fixtures come out, they can have a wee regroup and see how they can win that league if they really want it.
They're, I suppose Kilmarnock as well. They're like fighting off relegation a wee bit as well, so that they're fighting for their lives. I watched the game. They didn't really lay a glove on Kilmarnock. Hearts, their asses are going like that, and
they're starting to go a wee bit like, yeah. Like you said, going to these places at this time of the season is incredibly difficult because those teams that are down the bottom end of the table, it's just about winning games. It's not about style of play. It's not about tactics. It's just about getting a win. The Braga penalty incident for me was massive. See if he just went down from the challenge, they would have had a penalty. And if they go in front, then I think they would have probably went on and won the game comfortably. But
I suppose when your team's never been in this position before, like they haven't got like that 6-7 point cushion anymore. They're still in a good place. Was it 3 points, 2 points?
I've got the league here. I think it's 2 points.
Celtic have got a wee bit of momentum, haven't they? That was a big win against Motherwell. I knew that was going to be a tough game for them.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about Motherwell's credentials, and they're a really good team, but I think they could probably kiss their title bid goodbye after that.
I think if they'd won those 2 games and they were right up there, it would have been very, very interesting. But yeah, Motherwell's out of it now. But I think they'll finish. I think they'll finish 4th comfortably. I can't see Hibs beating them next week. I think they've got 4th tied up. But like you just said there, I think the momentum's now with Celtic. It's been strange this season because Hearts have been up the top, and rightly so, performances and results. But it's kind of been like a pendulum between Celtic and Rangers, who's going to catch them.
Yeah.
And I think it changes every week because, Celtic maybe drop point, whatever, but Celtic have got the momentum now. I think they can go forward with a lot of confidence and try and, get on top spot for the split.
I suppose for Rangers as well, winning at St Mirren, that's probably put them back in the equation. Not that they were ruled out anyway, but it just keeps things interesting, doesn't it? Like, I'm starting to think now, mate, if Hearts were to win it, it's like it will be an incredible achievement, and probably don't want to hear that from a Hibs point of view. But if they were to win it, like it will be, yeah, it'll be unbelievable. But it's the hard work starts now for them. Like, I mean, I think I believe their fixtures, they've got to play. Have they got to play Motherwell twice, home and away?
No, so oh yes, they do. Sorry, yeah. So they play them on the last day before the split. I think that's at Tynecastle. So the post-split game will be at Fir Park. So
right, yeah, and then they've got one more game with Celtic, one more game with Rangers. They've got to go Easter Road again as well.
It's incredibly difficult. But then again, you've got Shankland coming back, Devlin coming back. Say Hearts go and get beat in their next game, and Rangers, because Rangers are on the same goal difference as Hearts at the minute.
Yeah.
So like, if Hearts get beat this weekend and Celtic and Rangers both win, Hearts could be in third.
I think. Do you reckon if they lose top spot, that will be the capitulation? If they lost it, because they've held on it for so long.
I think you just mentioned there about that squad's never been in that position before, where like a Celtic and a Rangers have been in that position where even if they get knocked off top spot with like 3 games to go, they'll still have that belief. Whereas I think a Hearts maybe wouldn't have that sort of mentality psychologically to go, come on, we're still in it. Who knows? They might, if the post-split fixtures are kind to them, they might see it as, by the way, we've got a real great chance. Like if they play like Celtic or Rangers on the last day of the season, can you imagine that game on the last day of the season with them still having a chance to win the league?
Yeah, that'd be crazy, man. Like, and also, I suppose the banker for them, they know that Celtic and Rangers have got to play each other again once, so they could probably maybe think, well, that game could be a draw. That could maybe benefit us. But I think there's going to be points dropped. I tell you what, mate, it's absolute mental SPL season. Like, they're like 3 teams to be in the mix.
I was thinking watching the game on Saturday night, and I was like, is this one of the greatest Scottish Premiership seasons that we're witnessing, with Hearts being on top at this late stage, or is it one of the worst seasons because of the standards of Celtic and Rangers? I couldn't quite make my mind up, and I think like Hearts fans looking in, if any Hearts fans watch it, they'll probably be like, "Oh, you're just shitting on Hearts because you're a Hibs fan." I'm not. Like they fully deserve to be where they are with the results and the performances. The performances haven't been great the last few months. Like, I'm sure the vast majority of the support will agree with that, but they've been grinding results out. The 2 games where they were down to 10 men and they still managed to get 6 points. Incredible. Yeah. But it's in my head, I'm like, is it one of the greatest seasons we're witnessing, or is it just been so poor because Celtic and Rangers have been so bad that Hearts have just found themselves in that position? Yeah. With the 2 Old Firm teams being so poor.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument you could say that you can only beat what's in front of you, and to like Hearts ain't going to give a shit how Celtic and Rangers season's been doing, because they've been doing their bit. But I honestly hope, mate, going forward, that this is the precedent for SPL season every year. I hope there is a few teams in the mix. Yeah, like, I mean, the last few seasons in the Premier League, you've only had like 2 teams all the time, so it's good to have more competition, isn't it?
If you're like on the board at like your Motherwells, your Hibs, and I'm going to even put Aberdeen in there. We'll talk about Aberdeen in a minute. But all these big clubs, I think you have to look at the season and you have to go, well, there maybe is an opportunity here to like really dive into recruitment and trying to get good functioning squads that can go and challenge, because you just never know. Maybe it's going to be a catalyst for going forward.
Yeah, right. Yeah, to maybe people try and copy the Hearts method of how they're going about it. I know they're spending a lot of money on the data analytics and stuff, but maybe other teams will cotton on and think, well, we need to do that as well. Like we could bring in a couple of gems that are going to propel us up the league.
Because I don't think that Celtic and Rangers have the pool of recruitment that they did, say, 20 years ago. Like Advocat, McLeish, O'Neill, Strachan. I think the Old Firm still had that real historic pool for players to come and play. Yeah. I don't think they have that. I think that's sort of dwindled. And I think you've noticed it with, like, whenever they've been searching for managers, like, there's not really any managers who are really throwing their hat in the ring to go manage a Celtic and Rangers these days.
It feels like the tide's turning a wee bit, innit? Like, maybe
it feels like that.
Things are changing.
I mean, it could go the opposite way, Matthew. It could go like the Celtic and Rangers board could have a meeting and be like, this cannot happen again. So what are we going to do to fix it? And they might just pile millions of pounds into their squads, and then they're away again. So this might just be like a freak season. But
I've noticed if over the last decade, Celtic they've had they've been the biggest club in Scotland. They've had a bit of an issue with they bring in players and they'll immediately jump ship to the Premier League if an offer comes, or the managers the likes of Rodgers and Ange. Managers don't really stay there too long. They kind of see themselves they get an offer from the Premier League, they're going. Brendan Rodgers, when he left, he had the chance to do 10 in a row, and then Leicester came calling. Mm-hmm. I look at the size of the clubs. No disrespect to Leicester, but Celtic's a far bigger club than Leicester City. But he's still left to go. And
it's like your players, when they sold, what was his name? Matt O'Reilly went to Brighton, and obviously the wages are going to completely engulf whatever Celtic are paying him. But if you're at a club like Celtic and there's aspirations about trying to get the Champions League, trying to get in the last 16, the last 8, surely you would rather do that at a club like Celtic, or Rangers, as opposed to going down to a Brighton. And I think it just shows the sort of the decline in the want to play for the old firm. So maybe it's a good opportunity.
Do you reckon, 15, 20 years ago, a player would sign for Celtic or Rangers because they knew that the offer would be right, we're gonna be challenging for the league every year and cups. We've got 4 Old Firm derbies. We're gonna have 6 Champions League games. There's a bit of an enticement for players to want to join, but now it's no guarantee that Celtic and Rangers are going to be playing Champions League football.
You look at when Graham Souness took over at Rangers, and he sort of had this Souness revolution where he bought all these English-based players because there was a ban on English clubs competing in Europe. And I always think that in the 90s, signing for Celtic and Rangers, it was we've only got one team to beat in the league, right?
Yeah.
It's just the team on the other side of the city. The cups, we can challenge for them as well. But the main thing I think for those clubs at that time was we're going to be the top dogs in Europe. And that pulled in players right away because they were like, oh, happy days. We'll go and play for a big historic club like Celtic or Rangers. We'll challenge in Europe. Whereas now, the winners of this league this year aren't even getting into the Champions League proper. They've got to go through qualifiers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, aye. Is it the champions of Scotland? They'll have to do 1 qualifier, and the second place, I think they do 3 or 4.
I think the league winners go into the playoff round for the Champions League. Mm-hmm. And I also think that the second and third, it's Europa League. So yeah, the pool for being successful is a lot lower than it was years ago when I think, was it not years ago, it was the top 2 got into the Champions League? I could be wrong with that. So Celtic and Rangers...
happened once, I think. I think it happened with Celtic and Rangers were both in it.
Both in it proper, yeah. There's definitely been a decline in the need or the want to play for Celtic and Rangers. So I think it's good. Hopefully it's a good thing for the other clubs to get themselves in order and be let's get our recruitment spot on. Let's get our... everybody's got sporting directors nowadays. Everybody's got recruitment managers and stuff like that. So I don't think there's any excuses not to go gung ho into that section and be let's try and go for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. It's better for the league as well. More competition, and I mean, you think outside of Scotland, a lot of people are taking note and observing the SPL this season because it's interesting. Another team could win it. It's Hearts could win it this season, and next season just plummet back into 6th. But it's just this one season. It's got people very interested in it.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So the other team I wanted to speak about was Aberdeen. Aberdeen,
can he kick a jelly bean?
Stephen Robinson was appointed the manager last week. Mm-hmm. I think it's a good signing, but it kind of gives me Terry Butcher Hibs vibes 12 years ago when he got us relegated. When Hibs signed Terry Butcher in I think it was January, all the fans were like, happy days, great. We've got Butcher because he's done so well at Inverness. And then we ended up getting relegated and everybody was kind of looking around the room going, oh, that was a bit of a bad decision.
He was right to leave St Mirren right now when they're in the cup semi-final.
I think when a club like Aberdeen comes calling for you, I think it's hard to turn down. You have to put them up there as one of the biggest clubs. They've not performed as a big club for years. Obviously winning the Scottish Cup last year, but like they were still rotten after their big run in the league last season. But I think if you get an opportunity to manage Aberdeen, you're gonna have to take, aren't you? You know, I think Stephen Robinson understands that St Mirren was a bit of a glass ceiling for him, and he overachieved big time at that club. You know, making it such a difficult place to go for visiting teams, and you know, getting them that cup. It's a no-brainer for me. I think he's 100% right in his decision to go and try and challenge himself at Aberdeen.
Yeah, but it's the only sacrifice, I suppose, is giving up leading St Mirren to a potential cup double. But I suppose when you're St Mirren manager, and there's no disrespect to St Mirren, but Aberdeen, like one of the biggest clubs in Scotland, you have to take that job. Yeah,
100%. And the only thing that I would say about his appointment is that I think, looking at the Aberdeen squad, I think they need at least maybe 2 or 3 transfer windows for him to get his own ideas and his own philosophy across. At a club like St Mirren, you could be afforded that, but will the Aberdeen fans settle for it being mediocre? And I mean, if they lose the next couple of games, they're in the relegation battle.
Yeah, right.
You know, some people might even say they're already in it because the points they're on 30 points at the minute. And St Mirren and Kilmarnock are on 24.
Yeah.
So they could be well in the relegation battle if they don't win a few games.
Yeah, a couple of it's like a couple of losses and the teams below them win, and it's
you're sweating. You're like looking over your shoulder.
Yeah, you're getting dragged into it.
Yeah.
Speaking of relegation battles, I actually thought Tottenham produced an alright point. I don't know how that happened against Liverpool.
Yeah, you seen the fans at the end of the game, and they were all. It was like clapping, but they were in shock. They were like, "How's this happened?" Yay, go Tottenham!
Aye. That amount of coupon busters that probably affected over the weekend. Like you were banking on Liverpool winning that game, but I think Tottenham are they're playing with their lives, even though it's a struggle to watch. But Liverpool were really poor. They're like Roy Keane's right. They are terrible champions because they've just been absolutely honking this season.
They've certainly lost their sparkle since Klopp's left, hasn't it? Like,
yeah, aye.
They were always this team that I would stick on at the weekend and just love watching. They were just golden to watch. You know, that high press, just destroying teams. But I feel like under Slot, they've kind of just lost that sparkle a wee bit. You know, they're not as exciting to watch.
This season, I suppose, like Salah has not been the player he was last year. They lost Alexander-Arnold, and obviously they spent big in the summer. They bought in a few players, so I suppose it's transitioning. But yeah, it's a downfall of a team that's just won the Premier League title last year and won it convincingly. To be as bad as they are this year, it's can't get my head around it.
It's weird whenever a manager starts to implement his own players, his own ideas, that they start to go like this decline. And you can see it in Liverpool right now. They're a shadow of themselves that they were last season or the previous seasons with Klopp.
If you look as well, like how pivotal Salah is, and if he's not been at full pelt this season, then that doesn't look good for them because he's the main man, isn't he? But his time could be coming to the end.
Yeah.
And it's mental because what I admire about Salah, like he's a phenomenal player. Like he could just have a quiet game, and he'll just pick his moments where he's going to dish the ball in or he's going to shoot, and you never write him off, even if he's having a quiet game.
But yeah, off the back of the Tottenham saving a point, next week's massive, the Forest Tottenham game.
Oh, it's huge, mate, isn't it?
Because if Tottenham go and lose that, then they're in the relegation zone, and that takes some metal. You know, the game's remaining.
Yeah, I seen that advertised on Sky Sports News. I thought, that's probably the game of next weekend. That's a relegation 6-pointer, isn't it?
I was watching a wee clip of Jamie O'Hara on TalkSport, and obviously he's a big Tottenham fan, obviously, and. I can't remember the guy's name. He's a Chelsea fan, and he was like, "Oh, I would love it if the last day of the season we relegated Tottenham." He was like, "I would take Arsenal." And he was like, "I would take Arsenal winning the league. I could handle Arsenal winning the league, but if we relegated you on the last day of the season," he was like, "it would just be the best thing for 100 years." And Jamie O'Hara's sitting there raging.
He walked out, didn't he? Because that Jason Cundy's got like a Ange face on, like kind of clown. He had to walk out the studio. That's terrible.
I know, but it just shows you, like, They won the Europa League. Yeah, their league position wasn't great, but like I was so baffled when they sacked Ange Postecoglou. I was like, surely you got to give the guy another season. But even he said in the Stick to Football podcast that Tottenham's transfer policies are so poor. Like they don't go and spend money on wages and stuff like that, and that's why they're in the position they're in.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, like that they just kind of just like to live with a head above water. They don't want to splash of cash, but they're a massive club, like with finances in that stadium. Like they're in London, and they just don't want to push the boat out. Like,
nah.
But I don't think if they kept Ange, they might have had another poor season, but I don't think they would have been in this mess.
No, I don't think Postecoglou would have had them sort of flirting with relegation 100%. I mean, maybe mid-table or something like that, but just shows you sometimes don't know how good you've got it until.
I think I don't know what your verdict is, mate, but I don't think they'll go down. I'm thinking that they've got a lot of injuries out, and once they come back, I mean, on Sunday, like even someone like Ray Charlson, he was grafting. He was struggling in front of goal, but you can see he's putting the shifts in. Like that's what they're going to need. They're going to need players like that all over the park, and they've got some good players. Tottenham, I like that Xavi Simons and Pedro Porro. I mean, Forest got a point as well. West Ham, they just drew City. That'll give them a lot of confidence.
Wolves last night at Brentford got a point.
I know.
Yeah, it's tasty.
It's a bit late for Wolves, I think. It's a shame because they're throwing out good results, but they're still. I think they're like 12 or 13 points behind with 7 games to go. They need to win them all, I imagine.
Yeah, currently they're 12 behind West Ham and Forest. So and they've played a game more. So it's probably curtains for them. But West Ham and Forest are fighting for their lives, If Leeds United, they haven't won in the last 5. No. 3 draws and 2 defeats, so even Leeds United could get dragged into it. It's like, I always love this time of the season because you start to. I hate when seasons are so predictable. Like a team goes and wins the league by a canter, and then like the 3 teams that are getting relegated are like relegated with like 5-6 games to go, and you're like, there's nothing really. But seasons where it's so tight at the bottom and the top is, it's class.
It's a horrible situation because like I've been in that position before, like what you have as well with Hibs, and there's like in the Premier League, I think they say like the magic point number for safety is usually, I think it's like 36, but there could be a chance that gets broken this year. They think if you get 36 points, or it's 34, one of them, that's usually been enough to stay up. I think it's 36, but I mean, it could be different. Like because I can see West Ham. I can see West Ham picking up points. I think they're out of the 3 of them. Well, the teams that are in the mix, I can see them staying up. I think they've got fight in them, and I think that's what it comes down to. Who's got the more fight? Who wants it more? Like it's like 7-8 games left. They're like all cup finals. Like
me personally, I think Forest will go down. I think West Ham will stay up.
Yeah.
I think the turmoil that Forest have been through at the minute is like, with the start of the season and the owner's he's a bit of a scattergun, isn't he? He's like, just like fires managers left, right and centre.
I know, man, like that's inconsistency in it. Like he should have, I mean, just what's this, a 3rd manager this season? Like, so, it would, I wouldn't be surprised if they went down because of this, mate, the mess that they've caught. And it's mental last season because they were like, I don't know if they got 6th or 7th in the, and they got like, when Nuno was the manager, and they were in the top 4 for like all season as well. Yeah, they were up there, and everybody was like, "Here, Forest are a great team," but it just shows you how difficult the Premier League is. Yeah, what a downfall! It's horrible feeling fighting the relegation. It's disgusting because every game it's like you're crying, you're desperate for points. It's utter desperation. It's terrible.
But at the other end of the table, Man City are starting to stutter a wee bit, aren't they? 2 draws in the last 2. We spoke about it on last week's podcast. I sort of had the view that Arsenal were going to see it over the line, and you thought they were going to crumble. It's looking good for Arsenal. I'm looking at the fixtures here. Man City and Crystal Palace is postponed. I think is it the League Cup final this weekend?
So it is, yeah.
So the next time the league comes back into play, Arsenal have got Bournemouth obviously after the international break, and Chelsea have got Man City. So you look at that, that's at Stamford Bridge. You know, if Arsenal could be, if Man City drop point, even if they go like they drop another 2 points, Arsenal could be 10, 11 in front of them. So
I can't see them losing it, mate. And I think they've done it this year. I think they've got over the line.
They're just a well-oiled machine. I think Arteta, as much as he's taken a few years to get them to this stage, it goes back to this whole scattergun fire of managers. If you stick with a manager with a philosophy, I do believe that 60-70% of the time they will find success.
I mean, they slipped up against Wolves a little while ago, but since then they've won all their games. So that'll be interesting, mate. I think it'll probably come down to that game of the Etihad, because I think if Arsenal if they didn't get beat that day, if they draw, that would be a great result for them.
Aye, it's like we both said, they're just going there to defend, aren't they, and work on set pieces.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
If they've got enough of a cushion, because they don't need to go out and attack and win the game. Man City have to go and attack them. So I think it'll come down to that for sure. But big game for your team at the weekend, the big derby.
Yes, mate. Barcelona tomorrow, and then Sunderland on Sunday. I've been hearing fans saying, would you rather beat Barca and lose to Sunderland, or would you rather lose to Barca and beat Sunderland? Personally, I'd rather win both. But
exactly, and that is the attitude, mate. That is the football attitude that you need. You want to win all the games. You don't want to be dropping points against anybody.
I mean, the game against Barca is going to be interesting. I don't think we should fear them. We've just got to go and we've just got to try and get a goal, because we played well last week against them last Wednesday. So hopefully we can do that same. But it's a different animal in the new camp, isn't it?
And I mean, I suppose the good thing is, Barcelona are never going to change the way they play. They just, it's like your Real Madrids and your Bayern Munichs to just play one way. And that I spoke to you on the phone, and that penalty that you gave away in the last minute. Oh my goodness! I was just hold the ball in your final third. But you never know, mate. You just go, and if he's got a goal early doors, or you can maybe square it up at some point if they take the lead. You never know. You could pull off a right shock result.
Well, I thought if you 1-0 up and you go over there, the mindset would probably be just to defend. So maybe it's a good thing that it's 1-1. And we've got to go over there and we're not defending anything anymore. We've got to get some goals. Or take it to extra time penalties. But they play such a high line, Barcelona, and we will get. I imagine we'll get a few chances, but we've got to execute them and be clinical. It's funny that how some teams in Europe don't change their style. We'll just set in this way, but when they're going against a team that's got lots of pace, they eliminate the risk factor. We'll think, well, we'll just play our game. We'll score goals.
You can get a result. Get you into the next round.
I know, and the whole thing with losing to Sunderland, I mean, it'd be dreadful to lose to Sunderland. To lose to them twice in the same season would be shocking. And it's weird. I don't like Sunderland, they're big rivals, but I think that it's more personal to the Newcastle fans that actually live in Newcastle with Sunderland. I don't have anything with Sunderland, but obviously I despise them because of my club. But I mean, if we got past Barca and lost to Sunderland, it would be bittersweet. But both ways, I think you're happy. If the roles were reversed.
I always think with the Hibs and Hearts rivalry, it doesn't matter if they finish above you in the league, as long as you've got a better record in the derbies that season.
Yeah.
But as long as you've won those 2 games against Sunderland, I don't think it would sting as much, because you'd be well, we've got the bragging rights.
I just hope Barcelona or Sunderland don't adopt these tactics of huddling around the referee and the ball at the start of the game.
What was that all about? I seen it and was like, oh, there's something going on. It's I genuinely thought somebody had collapsed in the centre circle, because the Chelsea players were in, the referee was standing there. I didn't realise that Chelsea have been adopting this now, doing the circle in the centre circle. And then whenever the commentators were oh, what's going on here? I was just why did the referee not just step out the circle?
I know. He's stood in the middle. What are you doing?
I know, he looked like a bouncer. He was
yeah. And I actually started... When I seen that, I just instantly thought, we're going to get fucked with a VAR decision. The referee's going to give them a decision. And I thought, this doesn't look good. Like, they're surrounding the referee, like, and it's like, is this meant to be some fucking shithouse ploy or something? Because it clearly didn't fucking work.
You just see Cole Palmer with a wee brown envelope, just slipping it in the referee's pocket in the huddle.
I'm going to go down in the 35th. You better get that.
Yeah. As the referee, I know they stand in the centre circle before kickoff, but like surely you would just go, all right, okay, I'll stand to the side and like move and let them do their huddle. It was weird.
Huddle somewhere else on the pitch. Like they said, that manager was like, I want my players to respect the ball. Like, fucking, it's just an object. Like, huddle somewhere on the pitch, respect the pitch. That's where the football gets played.
Starting to do some sort of like ritual before the game in the centre circle, like the do you know like the like the New Zealand rugby team when they do the haka? Like he's like, you've got to like do a ritual around the ball at the start and start. Get the fuck.
Didn't make my hangover any better seeing all that.
The last thing I wanted to speak about was, did you see the Scotland squad announcement?
Yes, I saw it briefly. Last night actually. Yeah. How you feeling on it?
It's the same faces, it's the same squads. I'm so baffled why Halkett for Hearts isn't in the squad. He's been Hearts' best defender all season, solid, and he's put Grant Hanley in there. Now I'm a Hibs fan, but even me, I'm like, why is he playing Grant Hanley?
International managers have always got this weird decision to make because they have like their favourites and like loyal players who they know they can rely on, but like I think sometimes they've got to take form into question and think, well, if that player's playing extremely well for his club week in, week out, and the data and stats behind it back it up, then they need to take a punt on them.
I just don't understand it.
Mate, the midfield's strong though. I think
midfield's always been Scotland's strong point. And I think when Shankland comes back and he's playing games towards the end of the season, I'd like to see Shankland and Bowie in the squad. Yeah. Because, I mean, he's got, regardless of what happens, right, he's going to go and he's going to play a defensive structure with Che Adams up front or Lyndon Dykes, because he doesn't change from that. But
would you rather see Shankland or the other boy leading the line?
I would Bowie or Shankland. I would rather see Shankland leading the line.
Yeah.
I don't think Bowie's there yet. I think his experience in Serie A will do him the world of good to get him up to speed with international. But 100%, I'd prefer to see Shankland there.
Yeah. No, well, it's going to be interesting because when's he back, Shankland? Must be coming soon, eh? Like,
I think it's this weekend. I think he's back with the full squad training this week, so he'll be back in the squads. But I think I'm just one of these fans who's like, Scotland rarely get to major tournaments. We've been lucky in the last sort of 6-7 years that he's managed to get us to these tournaments. Mm-hmm. But I think you just have to go and try and attack the games. If you're going with this defensive structure, you're going to just trudge through games, and then it's going to be like another, Euros where you kind of go away and you go, oh well, we didn't really showcase, our true selves. And that's all from the back of playing this defensive structure and playing people that he knows, like your Hanleys and stuff like that. I just don't get it. So I was quite deflated with the choice of squad there that he's picked for the friendlies. I thought he would have tried to go with a few, like maybe 5 or 6 picks that were a bit unexpected. A few younger players to try and get them in the squad and give them experience in the games. But I'm not the Scotland manager, am I?
I'm gutted Barnes never chose to play for Scotland. I thought, I think he's dead set on trying to get in the England, but he might just miss out on both. He might not get a call up for England.
Because he's got English blood, not mine.
I know, he's English.
You know my stance on it. We spoke about it multiple times when the whole thing was getting discussed, that I just don't think he deserved to be in the squad just for the World Cup. I think, you have to go with the players that got you there. Obviously, the players would probably feel a bit differently. They'd be like, well, he's a match winner, so get him in the squad. But I just didn't like it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's a bit unfair, isn't it, for the other players and that. Like, he'll just have to use what he's got. Like,
exactly.
He's had a couple of tournaments experience, so hopefully Scotland fare better this time.
Yeah, I think they'll. I mean, they've got to win their opening game. They have to win that opening game because I think Morocco is going to be the one that's going to probably win the group. I
Yeah.
haven't really seen much of Brazil, but they're not the Brazil of old, are they? They're not like, they don't have the sparkle that the old Brazil teams had. Still
No.
obviously dangerous,
Yeah.
but you have to win that first game because obviously at the playoffs now, you can get through being third place. So
Aye. So would you actually put Morocco as the favourites for that group then? Do you think
I
they've
think,
got...
yeah. I
Aye.
watched them during the Africa Cup of Nations, and I was it was the first time I'd actually watched them properly, and I thought I had actually a really good side. I think, and they got to the semis of the World Cup last time.
Yeah, they did.
So yeah, they're a dangerous team, good team, and I think they'll come out on top. So you have to just kind of try and win the opening game and maybe get a point against Morocco or Brazil, if not 2 points, and then you're through to the next round. So knowing me, right, we'll win the first game, and then we'll need like a point against Brazil and Morocco, and big Grant Hanley will step up with his big 50-pence head.
Yeah.
He'll score a header in the last minute to take us through, and I'll be like, I've got egg on my face now.
No, it just takes that one moment, innit? It's what the games are all about. But I mean, just to be there, it's a thrill, isn't it? Like, like, I mean, we said it for years. Like, is Scotland ever going to make another tournament since '98? And here they are. This will be the third one, eh?
I don't think he has the popularity of the Scottish fans anymore that he once did, because he is a bit negative and stuff like that. But you like I said before, mate, you don't really realise how good you've got it until it's gone. So, like, I think he'll leave after this tournament. I think that'll be him done. And then Scotland might just go back into the abyss because, like I said, he's not really preparing the squad for the next 5-10 years with the players he's bringing through.
Yeah.
So, like, if a new manager comes in, he might have a completely different philosophy of who he wants to play international football, and then we could maybe slip back into not qualifying again. So then we'll look back on this period and be like, I wish we just enjoyed it a wee bit more while he was there. But you never know.
Who would you reckon will be a successor?
I've always said I wanted to see Davy Moyes take it.
Yeah, aye.
And I always thought that the SFA should have went and got him then. But obviously it's worked out fine because Clark's got us to the World Cup. But I would like to see Moyes taking it.
Yeah, I can imagine he'll take that at one point, mate, and it could be the chance after... how long do you reckon Clark will do? Do you reckon this will be his last tournament? Or
I think so. Yeah. I don't think he's come out publicly and said that it is going to be his last tournament, but he's kind of achieved everything that he's going to achieve with the Scotland squad, getting them to the Euros and the World Cup. So I think he'll walk away after this.
Yeah, I can see Moyes taking it. Like, I know he's trying to get Everton some form of European football this season, but it might, if they don't get a European football and the Scotland post opens up after World Cup, you might just leave Everton and take the job.
And I think it's a nice change for a manager as well, because you go from day to day, the pressures and the stress of day to day, to like every 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and getting with your players, and then like just sauntering around the country looking at different players and stuff. So it's a bit of a different pace, isn't it? So you might look at that and be like, it suits me at this time in my career. But
yeah, I've always thought with David Moyes, like a kind of, with Man United, if they just stuck with him a bit longer, how he would have done, because he didn't get that much time there. Eh? Like, it's just too much of a hard thing with Fergie leaving and Moyes coming in. But I think some Man United fans I've spoke to, they'll say if he was kept a bit longer, who knows what would have happened. He didn't really make the best of signings, like he bought like Fellaini and stuff. And
I know, not Man United standard players at that time, wasn't it? Like,
nah.
But like, you look back at when Fergie took over in, was it 86? Did he take over Man United? Maybe a bit later. Took him like 5 years to cement his philosophy and then make them into the team they are. So this whole like giving managers half a season and then sacking them, it's just it's the modern age of football, isn't it?
Yeah. I think there was so much pressure on that job, and I think Moyes probably knew that when he went in. He was like, because Fergie's left, you're never going to replace it, and that immediate impact.
I think I read something that whenever he got sacked, that he took, I could be wrong in saying this, I think he took his backroom staff from Everton in.
Yeah.
And I think somebody turned around and says like it was the worst thing that he could have done, because Fergie had like really good experience in his backroom staff, and if Moyes had went in with them as the backroom staff, there would have been that link to the current players. And then once he'd found his feet, he could have started getting new coaches and stuff like that. But I think he went in and just completely changed everything. And I just don't think, if you're like a Van Persie and a Rooney and stuff like that, and a Ferdinand and all, and then you've got like Moyes and the Everton coaching staff coming in taking sessions, you're a bit like, this is a bit of a drop off in standards to what we're used to.
They probably would have benefited more if Moyes had just came in and worked with their staff, because it's familiarity. Right, we've got a different coach, but or different manager, but we've still got the same sort of coaches that we work with day to day. Maybe that might have benefited them, but it's and some managers are like that as well. Like they just prefer their own coaching team, don't they? The backroom stuff.
That's 90 minutes, mate. We've just been speaking.
The trilogy's complete, mate.
It won't be long until we're at our half century.
Yeah. Oh, maybe the 50th one could be like the live one we do in the pub.
Yes, good idea. Set it up live and stream it.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's going to be the best podcast out of them all.
Yes, well, hopefully Newcastle get a wee result tomorrow night, and you can do a wee double against Sunderland at the weekend.
I hope so, mate. I really hope so. Like, I think any European football now, the only way we can get in the Champions League is if we win the Champions League or win every game in the Premier League. It's going to be very difficult. I wouldn't mind going into the Europa Conference or Europa League, though, because I think if you go into the Conference League, you're still playing European football, would probably be favourites for it. Good chance of winning it. And you can probably... I don't think your squad's going to get pushed to the limits because you can play a lot of your reserve.
Put a few fringe players in.
And if the Conference League as well, there's a chance we could play each other. So that would... It's in Newcastle, that would be class.
My God, mate, I think you would absolutely destroy us with the level of talent you've got compared to Hibs.
Oh, mate, if that was a game set up, then, wherever the game's at, we're going to have to vlog it all on the selfie stick.
That is a shout. If the stars align and Newcastle and Hibs play in a qualifier, or whatever, however we meet, we'd have to go to the games. We'd have to try and get tickets for the games.
All right, absolutely, mate. That would be amazing. And I wouldn't need to go far for the game as well. I just need to get the bus up to Easter Road. Off it's down in Newcastle, only an hour and a half on the train.
We bevy on the train before it. See a bit of Newcastle.
Yeah, all right, apple pie.